Hey guys, Curious Hobbies here. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to play some Marble Arena 2. This game is on the verge of obsolescence. Possibly, anyway. This app is 32-bit, and it's also made with the Cube 2 engine, a cube map game engine dedicated to level map creation. More on that later. That was first made over a decade ago, and sadly, likely that, and definitely the main game made with it is also 32-bit. Previously, I have talked more about what this means, so I might annotate a previous video of mine. Anyways, this game is a marble game with move and jump controls, and many cool levels on its own merit. So, in this video, I'm going to play some levels from Cube 2 through this game. In a previous video, I downloaded that and did try to play it. Apparently, this game was made with that engine. However, it didn't really work. I then looked inside the app though, then I found some OGZ files there. Those files are level map file formats from Cube 2, which might work in other games as well, and might not. In this case, the vast majority of the time, not. I then made a folder in this game's library, and then I copied over all of them to there. Also, I have talked quite a bit on this game. I did some research on some of the files I found in this app support folder in the user library, which, side note, is actually how I first found that library. And also, that was on our old Mac, by the way. This game's launch window does have an option to go there, which that library would normally be hidden on macOS. There, you can also see any custom levels that you have made. I found OGZ levels to originate from Cube 2. Anyways, what I'll be doing here is playing and exploring these levels, which, by the way, I'm not playing all of them. As you can see, there are a lot of them. Instead, I'm going to play a couple of them from each of these tabs that are showing. By the way, all of these levels are in one folder. There's just too many of them for one tab, and because it also does not have scrolling. So, let's get started. So first I'll try this one called Acrosium or Acrosium or however you say it. And it works, it loads fine. However, all of these surfaces are textured with complete randomness. They were not made in this game, which has different textures. So is that why some don't work? Also, this area here is really dark. One thing I forgot in my last video on this game is material. You can add physic materials to existing cube map geometry, like sand, ice, tarmac, rubber, collision, better described as invisible walls or platforms, and that's the red stuff around the sides, known here as the clip material, and also no clip. This is an opposite material that lets your marble fall through any geometry that has that applied. You can see some clip material that cages this whole level. They even made some on top here, way above anything in this level. The modeling is not very random though. After all, there are pillars, and fences, hills, and this thing that looks like a ladder. What is this thing? You can't really climb it, at least not very easily. So let's go into edit mode. This geometry is really impressive. Of course, that thing would normally be how you get up here. This game isn't Cube 2 though, and that makes it very difficult, if not impossible, to climb that thing. I think I just sloped that surface. Apparently, that did something to the lighting. Because I can enter this mode, thankfully, because all of this game's levels are edit protected, I'm going to use this to reach places I can't otherwise. So even though I'm up here, it's hard not to fall off the top of these pillars. Okay, I guess now it's easier from here. That slope though, I don't know about this. Okay, I guess I made it off. Also, look how dark that section is. Like, compared to the rest of this top here, maybe that's because I accidentally did something. Okay, I made that, and now I can't zap this star. Why? Well, apparently because its hitbox is unreachable by the marble. Interesting. Look how different the lighting looks now, on everything. These hills are really interesting. And that pole lamp thing? What is that thing? Again, invisible collision. And what's this? It looks like a jump pad? Doesn't look like a jump pad. contradictory statements. But yeah, it apparently says it's a jump pad. Doesn't look like one in game though, and it doesn't do what a jump pad does. I mean, normally it would bounce the marble on contact. Okay, let's move on now. This next one is aqueducts, if that's how you say it. Again, I don't know. The first thing that grabs my attention is these things that look like rails. They're not even rails. Those things on the edges, what are those things? They're not even very high. Okay, I guess I'm going in the water. And now I'm getting out again, I guess. Only to see another one of these bridge-looking things, and more of these weird rail things, and a staircase with more of those rails, and now I'm getting into this body of water, I guess, around the area, with like some kind of terrain stuff surrounding it. Also, I like how there's all this rounded beveled geometry. How easy was this to model in Cube 2? Because in Marble Arena, it's definitely not that easy to model anything circular. A quick look at this area here is pretty impressive to me. Apparently, there are some waterfalls that you can't use to reach the second floor because the floor is blocking it. You can jump up to the second floor though. Compared to Cube 2, just how to scale is this? There's like all this invisible collision around the environment. Let's check out this stair step case thing. It's not very steep, and there's like spacing between the steps. Wow. And a ladder. Interesting. And this is like an actual ladder, at least as I know it. Not like the one in Acroseum. That was interesting. These like corridors. Let's check this out. Like, okay, I guess that's what the rest of this is, so I'm finding this really interesting. Okay, that's aqueducts. Next. Let's try this one called Box Demo. Okay, this is really simple. After all, it's called Demo. The sides are also clipped. And this top surface of this level is mostly flat, except for like a few entities and a really simple geometric shape. What even is this supposed to be? Okay, seeing as how simple this level is, it would definitely be a good time to move on. CW Castle. Curious. Okay, first off, I am surrounded with the default custom level texture for this game. Wow. And immediately after, I jump in the water, I guess. Oh, a teleporter. And 2 spawning positions right in the same place. And another one over here. And here. And here. And here. Does this game use a random one of these to spawn you at? If so, that's a nice feature. One thing that's really interesting to me is what these maps look like in Cube 2. What would these textures look like if they were actually correct? Of course, in Marble Arena 2, they're not, and Cube 2 crashes when you open it. So, I did try searching for CW Castle, not really being successful in finding a video of the level, which isn't really too surprising to me. However, I did search for the game itself, and I did find something. Better yet, it's a video that begins with gameplay footage of this level. So right off the bat, it looks very different in texture. Shape-wise, it does look familiar. Like this concert/amphitheater-like seating area here. More on that later. And this makes sense. Marble Arena has different textures, and the same geometric engine. Unfortunately, none of that part of this video features this curious area. I mean, there's this shelf and counter, this fireplace thing, this crank axle thing, this pool of water, I guess, which if you try to go in it, the marble just fits here. Okay, maybe a bit too well. I'm stuck here. You can like see the water material here. Also, what are these things that you can just see right through to the ground? Seeing this room in Cube 2 would be really interesting. Oh, an ultra jump. Let's go and zap it. What? It doesn't give me high jump powers. It does give me 5 star points though, when all of these white stars are worth 1 point, and yet I'm scoring nothing from them for some reason. Wait, 5? The most rare of the 4 types of stars in this game are red stars, which, as you may have guessed, are worth 4 points. There's like more of this clip material on the outside. It's pretty fascinating, and some of this is actually applied to already existing geometry. I don't know why. This like pathway that leads into this main area. Ran across some kind of symbol on the wall. Interesting. And also, this is that seating area that I mentioned before. Pretty interesting just how it looks in this game. Like how it also has the no clip applied to it. Let's go check out this teleport that we saw earlier and got carried away and didn't use. Well, it leads to the same place where we got this whacked Ultra Jump power-up. What is wrong with those entities in these levels? I mean, is this like saved in the OGZ map file? It must be. Okay, for this next one, let's try starting another level with demo in the title. This time it's called Door Demo. I'm kind of suspecting this will work, and well, it does. This one seems more complex than Box Demo. It's got this like house thing, and these geometric hill shapes in the background. Interesting. However, this level map is pretty simple, so let's move on. So this one, being the top file in this next tab, is called Dune. So that's the one that I'm choosing next, which apparently is also one that has mostly default texture. Look at all this really interesting geometry, like this kind of floating platform that has like this pattern, and this thing with a more simple pattern on the ground here. Also, there's this kind of water pool thing. However, it's very shallow, and somehow, this means that even though we're really in the water, no splash sound plays, and we're not falling slower. It does not register that we're in the water. There's like all of these stairs, and these like geometric vent/grate things there, and is that a ladder? Also, let's take a moment to look at the invisible collision here. Kind of interesting. I just looked under one of the grates here, and I can see like a few light entities, and like some sort of hill-like geometry. Kind of interesting. What's that supposed to be? Also, I went underneath for some reason, and I saw this, so I wanted to go inside to have a look at this. And oh my god, look at all these entities. Apparently these are mostly like particles and jump pads, if you can even call them jump pads. And this like tubular thing that we're in right now is just a bunch of geometric rings just lined up here. What is this place? At the end, I also saw a bunch of these teleports. I mean, wow, I did see some teleport destinations at the other end. Maybe this is some sort of chamber or tunnel, and maybe those jump pads are like some sort of force. Also, what are the particles here? They could be like smoke or steam. This like cylindrical, skeletal looking kind of shapes? Yeah, pretty intriguing place. Let's move on now though. This level is called Guacamole. Curious. Pretty dark area at first glance. And some sort of water area. Let's just quickly zoom out here. This inside area is textured with this sky texture. What that texture is for is it alludes to the background, so you can only see the background and not any other geometry or any other textures. Pretty interesting property. There's some like tiled color textures with varying saturatedness and some sort of tree things that have like bright red. I am kind of curious about what that's supposed to look like in Cube 2, but even this is pretty impressive. Even aesthetically, especially being played in a game that isn't even the one that it's meant to be authored for. Just wow. And a teleport. Interesting like burrowed hole that this is in. Okay. I guess this is a pretty small map. So, let's move on. So that was Guacamole. Weird level name. But now let's move on to Industry. Okay, so there's definitely some radial sound source entities. Okay, so I have one question right now. Are any of these entities what they're supposed to be in Cube 2? Because the textures and that Ultra Jump in CW Castle was so different than this game could even produce. I mean, I don't think there's an option to make an Ultra Jump give you 5 stars. Some like player start positions. And more of this invisible collision and a teleport. Let's go in. And this apparently is where it leads. This is really interesting. There's some like inclines and stairs, corridors, and a few more entities on the ground here. A quick zoom out of the map reveals the invisible collision in its full glory, I guess. And some kind of radio tower thing. And a dash of sky texture. This outer hull here is really interesting. I guess I'm going to move on now. This one is called ladder.ogz. In fact, all of these have an OGZ extension because they're OGZ files. Well, it's pretty simple. Just a simple geometric shape with a couple of ladders on it. If I had known that, I would have expected this to work. At least, probably. So, we're about halfway through these. Well, not halfway through all the ones that work. This is getting long, so I might do the rest of this later. I have recorded playing like some of the rest of this, so I don't know how long the next one is going to be in that case. Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate this game is made with such an old engine, so it may not work in macOS Mojave. Just maybe though. I might be able to do more of this. I do have some other things I might do with this game. For instance, the main one being I might play some levels that I made in this game. With that, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If so, feel free to like it, share it with family and friends, and sub to my channel for more content. If you want to get notifications on new uploads, click on the bell icon after subscribing. I try to post new videos on Saturdays or Sundays. Also, you can check out my channel. To do that, click on my icon or channel name just below the video. For any questions or requests you have, please let me know below in the comments. As always, thanks for watching.